the conversation. Upset, complaint, opinion, call me. Oh, no, that didn't just happen. Garrard McClendon Live starts now. Woo, you know it starts now. Ooh, I'm mad tonight. Violence begets violence. What makes human beings so upset? Getting disrespected, someone stepping on your shoes, or a congressman from South Carolina calling us names. You lie, you lie. Well, if you lost your job in the Republic window scandal, you might lose your temper. Or if you get taken out of the game too soon, you might shoot your baseball coach. We're praying for you, Mr. Glenn Hall, the victim, and Mr. D'Angelo Williams, the suspect. But when four high school teams and their fans go head to head and brawls break out, we know we got some serious problems. Niles North and South, Simeon and North Chicago. How are we going to figure this out? Joining us now from the Tribune Tower is CEO of the Black Star Project, walking 1 million children to school safely, educate or die, Mr. Phillip Jackson. How's it going this evening?
Gerard, I am excellent this evening, and I don't know if it was 1 million, but we think we had about 650,000 fathers across the country taking their children to school safely.
Yeah, and see, that's the key word, safely. It's not happening at some of these high school football games. High school violence, North Chicago and Simeon have a game. Fight breaks out. Niles North versus Niles South. Huge rivalry. Fight breaks out. We got to mend the wounds and keep the peace. Phillip, how can we heal the fans and the children?
Well, Friday night football is an American tradition, and it's done all over the country, especially in Texas and Indiana and New York and in Oregon, all over the country. And so there's something special about high school football on a Friday nights.
Yeah.
But this is what's been happening lately all over the country. High school football on Friday nights has been turning increasingly violent, and for several reasons. Number one, it's the perfect opportunity to settle a score that you can't settle in the school for various reasons, from disciplinary to not having the right opportunity. So you've got a distracted crowd, people who aren't really focusing on you. Number two, usually and unfortunately, the people who are securing this are not policemen. They're not official sworn officers. They're security guards.
Right.
And so they really don't know how to contain and control crowds or major outbursts.
Yes.
And number three, you're giving young people, children, access to rivals, sometimes connecting two gangs. And all of this has come together to be the perfect formula for Friday night fights at football games. But it really doesn't have to be that way, Gerard.
You know what, Mr. Jackson, that's a good point. Let me correct my error. Niles North and Niles South. Who solves the problem here? The coaches, the police department? Of course, you just mentioned having sworn police officers would help. Principals, the athletic directors, or the IHSA? Who can solve this problem?
Well, principals are the leaders of those schools, and I just want to go on record for saying, you know, we've worked with Simeon, we know Principal House, we've worked with North Chicago, we know Principal McDermott there. Those are leaders, and they're doing one of the most important things right now. They're not saying, oh, well, that's an isolated incident, or oh, that's just one or two bad kids. They're not running away from the problem. They're taking this problem head on. They're taking ownership of the problem. And they're saying, oh, no, not on my watch. So they're saying, Simeon, we are better than that. North Chicago, we are better than that. What do we have to do to fix it? Black Star, we're in conversations with them to try and bring them back together.
Absolutely. And you know what, Phillip? I think that's the whole point right there. It's usually just one or two people that disrupt everything. And that makes it bad for everyone. I want to go to my Facebook comments. Laurette says, I believe it has violence breaking out. And that's sad, Gerard. During a time when participating in sports should be fun and exciting, many would rather fight and act out instead. Phillip, we talked about this in the past. Children acting out. Sometimes it's because they're not getting the attention.
Yeah. Well, we've got some models here, Gerard, for really tough, aggressive, great athletes. And I just want to mention a couple of names. Chris Zorich, who used to play for the Chicago Bears, great guy. I mean, on the field, he was a warrior. He was ferocious. Off the field, this man is giving away food baskets. He's making sure that the elderly are taken care of. He's working with small children. And that's the kind of thing that we've got to teach our young athletes. That to be a real man, to be a real tough football player, you don't have to fight on the field or fight off the field. Play the game. Another great example, Mike Singletary. I don't know if you remember the Samurai.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I mean, these are guys on the field, you would think they were possessed because they took the game more than seriously. It was everything. But off the field, I know Mr. Singletary, he's like the father of the year for the whole country.
He's a teddy bear.
And so, but that's what we have to teach our children, and that's the message that we're not getting down to our young guys. And so they see the replay of that football player from Oregon who was just suspended. They see that over and over and over again. They see how he hit the guy, and they say, oh, yeah, that's real football. That is not real football.
No.
And by the way, that's not what they teach in the Chicago public schools. I know that Mr. Kelvin Davis is heading up that sports program. I know that Mr. J.W. Smith headed up that program for years. They teach these guys sportsmanship. They teach these guys how to play the game on the field, leave everything on the field, and when you come off that field, shake hands and move on to the next one.
And when you're a real sportsman, when you're serious about your sport, but you have respect for your opponent, you don't want them to get hurt. You want them to play the game, play it safely, and play it in a way that no one gets hurt, the spirit of competition. Phillip Jackson, hold tight. I'm going to go to break. Did you see Obama's speech last night, everyone? Congressman Joe Wilson yells, "You lied to the president." Glenn Hall recovers from gunshot wounds, and Friday Night Lights gets replaced by Friday Night Fights. Niles North and South, call me. Simeon in North Chicago, kiss and make up. Tell me what happened. Call me, 877-358-CLTV. Garrard McClendon live, back in 2 minutes.
So the video shows what happened at the North Chicago Simeon game relative
Dave Ganaway was interviewed by WGN reporter Muriel Claire on the violence in the Illinois football games. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. Has violence replaced sportsmanship? Can't we all just get along? Joining us right now from Tribune Tower, Phillip Jackson, CEO, Black Star Project. Phillip, you know, I was at the House of Blues the other night. Jay-Z was there. A relationship quarrel just broke out. A stabbing took place. There was a time when we could count to 20 and we could calm down. I mean, are those days gone, Phillip?
This is from Ken Trump, who's the president of the National School Safety and Security Services. In any case, the tradition of Friday night football has lost its innocence in many parts of the country. What he's saying is that back in the old days, everyone went out from the town to see a good football game. It's no longer that, and this is what I think is a major part of the reason. Number one, the violence that is in our society. As we all know, there's lots of violence, especially amongst young people all over the country. Here in the city of Chicago, Black Star, we counted 53 children killed last year. None of them at a Chicago public school or even at a football game, but in the city, 53 children killed, and that carries over. That's number one. But number two, there has been a major a shortcoming, if you will, on the part of parents, on the part of adults. When I grew up, and I went to a couple of schools, I went to Calumet, DeSable, Harlan, Hirsch, but when we went to a football game, the stands were filled with parents. When we went to a football game, the community was there, and there was not the, I mean, there were a lot of kids there. But you saw Michael's mom, and Michael wasn't going to do anything with his mom there. So if we can once again get parents back involved, not just with their children's education, not just coming up to schools and being involved and participating, but also involved with their children's extracurricular lives. Also involved with their children's sports lives.
You know what, Phillip? I'm going to let you continue, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Parents involving themselves in their children's extracurricular lives, because what happens is we wait on the report card and we beat up the kid or praise the kid for the report card, but when it comes to going to the cross-country meet or the football game or the speech and debate meet, we're absent. We have to be present in a child's life incessantly. Phillip, Two more things. Thank God for great producers. My mistake once more. Niles West and Niles North. I finally got it right here. Let me go to a phone call. I'm going to go to Timella. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Timella, how are you this evening?
Hi, Garrard. I wanted to make the comment and basically say that parents need to step up. I think that is the biggest problem. Us parents, we need to lead by example.
Yeah.
What our children see is, you know what I'm saying, they mimic what we do, just like the congressman, you know, bluntly disrespected the president of the United States. You know, children are looking at that. So if it's okay for a congressman to act in that sense, what makes us think that our children is going to, you know, it's ridiculous.
You know what, Timella, hold on, Timella. I want to ask you this. It's so interesting because sometimes adults will make the statement, you're acting like a child, but sometimes children behave better than adults, you know.
Exactly.
And I think your example was classic. I mean, him saying you lie that loud in front of the president of the United States, you got to be kidding me, Timella.
It's ridiculous. And he should have been, what I couldn't understand is he should have been escorted out. You know, that's just disrespectful, you know, and I just don't know. Hopefully we can get it together before it's, you know, too late.
Hey, Timella, that's a great call. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. You know, Phillip, she is on it. Let me go to some comments from Facebook. I'm looking at Janetta Kane. She says, yes, ask the baseball coach that was shot at because he told a player he couldn't play. This man was volunteering his time to give young men something productive to do. Janita goes on to say, the mindset has to change. But Patrick Jackson, Phillip says, this is nothing new. It's just getting coverage. Rival teams have fought each other for years. Immaturity is the key. Sore losers. So, I mean, you know, it's nothing new necessarily, but we have to be careful because it's one thing to have a fist fight. It's another thing to pull a knife out and a gun, Phillip.
Well, what we have to do, and Timella is a tough lady. She might be able to get out there and really play some tough sports, but she's absolutely right. We've got to get the parents out there. But we also have got to teach our children sportsmanship at an early age. Not winning at all costs. Not winning is everything. Not win or die. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
Sports is a character building opportunity. You know, it's not whether, I don't want to sound, you know, philosophical. It's not the winning or losing. It's the development of personality, of character, of emotion, of being able to control yourself.
You know
That's what sports is about.
You're so right, and you have the right to be philosophical because your first name is Phillip. Hey, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. I hope violence doesn't break out after the CEO from Republic Windows gets a $10 million bond. Ooh, as violence replaced sportsmanship in business, politics, and on the athletic field, Phillip Jackson loads up my telephone lines. Call me at 877-358-CLTV. Garrard McClendon Live, back in 2.
It was several fights and breaking out, swings taking places.
Several fights breaking out. Dave Ganaway, IHSA, interviewed by Muriel Claire, WGN reporter. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. As violence replaced sportsmanship, fights break out at 2 high school venues last week. Niles West, Niles North, Simeon in North Chicago. Were you there? Could it have been prevented? How? Give me a call, 877-358-CLTV. Phillip Jackson is with me tonight. Phillip, I'm going to go to phones after you talk about North Chicago getting the biggest hit here. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I read in the newspapers what everyone else is reading, that it seems as though since the fight happened in North Chicago, the players and the fans were involved. And so it's my understanding from our sources that the program has been suspended for a while there in North Chicago. And we've heard that players at Simeon have been suspended as well. And I like that. I like the fact that both schools, both conferences, and the ISHA took immediate action.
You know, that's a good point. But do you think that's better than just maybe moving the games to Saturday afternoon?
No. We've looked at this, and there are some cities across the country who have done just that. And this is what they say in those cities. that those games lose the flavor of the Friday night games. It's not as exciting and it's not as big. Now, it's not as violent either.
Yeah.
And so we want to keep the best of both worlds.
You're so right. You know, it's Friday night football. It's got that swagger. You know, it's the lights are on. You know, the young people can hook up with their boyfriends or girlfriends. It's, you know, you eat popcorn. It's just a lot of fun. It's a cheap date. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Phillip,
like Monday night football. It's like Monday night football. It's
right,
big time.
for people 18 and under.
That's right.
You know what, Phillip, let me go to phones. I'm going to go to Jason. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Jason, what's your comment?
Gerard, this is a problem that's been going on for years. 20 years ago, when I'm in my park district playing for the championship, parents were fighting.
Oh.
And the kids sat there, and we looked stunned, you know? And my dad had to sit there, get his badge out, and sit there and break it up.
You know what, Jason, why? Is the rivalry that deep? Why were parents fighting?
Parents sit there, you know, they get too involved in their kids.
Yeah.
You know, they're too obsessed with winning.
Yeah.
And, you know, when somebody at the other side says something that just, you know, tweaks them the wrong way, bada bing.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, sir. It's not just parents that need to watch their behavior, and it's not just congressmen. It's every adult.
Yes.
Because kids see that, whether it be the Detroit Pistons when they stormed and attacked the fans in the stands, whether it be I forget the college team, but over last weekend, some college player did a cheap shot. You know, if you're an adult, kids arguably are going to be watching at some time or the other.
That's right, Jason, man, thanks for the call. That's a big phone call. You know, Phillip, he's right. Children don't always do what we hear them or tell them to do. They're going to do what we do. You know, and so sometimes the modeling here is the big issue. Phillip, I'm going to go to one more phone call, then I'm coming back to you. Yvonne, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Yvonne, what's your comment?
My comment is to Phil Jackson. We work together in a program called Parents as Teachers First. And you taught us that teaching starts at home. And you distilled in us that if a child, you know, if you teach your child at home and teach him the right way, a child won't go astray. And then that's when you brought into the programs with Father, walking your children to school.
Yes.
See, it takes me way back when we started the program. To me, we need these programs back, because if we can get the programs back and start back with the children while they're small, bring them back up, we wouldn't have all this violence going on. Because nowadays, the kids are raising themselves.
Yes, Yvonne.
Where is the parents in the home?
That's
See,
a
kids
big
have
phone
to get
call.
out there, join these academics, but they're not being trained the proper way.
Hey, so Yvonne, check it out. Would you spend $30 million on the 1,200 students in CPS to make sure that they're chaperoned and have jobs?
You know what? If we can afford it, we need to.
We
always taking shortcuts
Yeah.
when it comes down to our children.
It's all good.
Stop taking the shortcuts and let's do it and do it the right way.
Sometimes you got to go the long way. Yvonne, thanks for the call.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Phillip, that was big, wasn't it? You got about 10 seconds, Phillip.
There was a school in Peoria where they lost a very important basketball game, Peoria Manual. And after they lost the game, they surrounded the opposing team and they prayed for the team.
Wow.
That's what we have to get to eventually. And I'm not saying that religion is the only answer or the answer, but when we have children who are willing to wish other children who just beat them good luck going forward, and we're praying for you, then we know that we will have fixed this problem.
That's for real, Phillip. Hold tight. I'm going to take you through the end of the break. Prayer, consciousness, you know, meditation, these things can get us through as well. And taking 20 seconds to just breathe in, breathe out, exhale, and not get in a fist fight. Don't shoot nobody. What do you think? Will the IHSA find a way to eliminate violence in high school sports? Punish, suspend, or have events on Saturday afternoons? What do you think? Rat-a-tat-tat-tat, tat-a-tat-tat. Never hesitate to put a quarter on his back. Has violence replaced sportsmanship? Hit me on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and CLTV.com/GML 877-358-CLTV. Garrard McClendon Live, back 2 minutes. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. Temper tantrums in politics and sports, right-wingers hating on President Obama, baseball coaches getting shot, and fights breaking out at high school football games. 877-358-CLTV. 888-358-CLTV. That's the number. Phillip Jackson from Black Star Project is with us. Phillip, I'm going to take one more phone call, then I'm going to get some final words from you. Let me go to Winetta. Winetta, talk to me. What's going on? What happened, Winetta?
Hello, and how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
You know what? I'm just calling to say that Simeon played North Chicago last year, and they was winning, and there was no fight that broke out. Just so happened, I happened to be at that game. And I'm like, you know, it was poor sportsmanship because they were losing. Not to say that that was right, you know, because I'm like, it's a winner and it's a loser in every game. It's how to win and how to lose.
Yes.
But for these kids to be labeled as villains, bullies, thugs, I think that is wrong.
Right, you're right. You're right. That's not right. I mean, you asking for it when that happens. You know, Winetta, I thank you so much for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Please continue to watch and hit us up on CLTV.com/GML. We appreciate you. Phillip Jackson, close us out, my friend. We got to stop the violence. We got to walk some children to school, not just the first day of school, but continuously. Give me a solution, 20 seconds, Phillip Jackson.
We're going to be looking for the alumni from Simeon High School and the alumni from North Chicago to step up. We're going to be going to Northwestern, University of Illinois, and University of Wisconsin to get football players to mentor these same young guys on how to win and how to lose. And then we want you to think about some of the greatest sportsmen ever. Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, Ernie Banks. Those weren't fighters. Those were warriors, and that's what we want.
You're so right. Phillip Jackson from Black Star Project, we appreciate you being on the show. We know that Michael Jordan will be inducted into the Hall of Fame here. We got Dwayne Wade in town this weekend, so it's all good. Phillip Jackson, thanks for being on Garrard McClendon Live, my friend.
Thank you, Garrard.
All right. Hey, hit me at CLTV.com/GML after the show. That's Garrard McClendon Live for tonight. Come on now. You got to stay positive. You got to keep your head up and always be encouraged. Excellent, excellent. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, you guys. Phillip, great job.